Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith, and this is Steam Wagon Hoe Part 2. All right. Now, we went ahead and we faced off center drilled our shafts so we can run them in between the chuck and the center, or two centers and this and that. We are going to start by running our shafts between the 4-jaw chuck and the center because we're going to want to be removing some material. And I'm going to show you how I control run out and uniformity within the part just to get it roughed out, and then when we get down to the nitty gritty on the sizes, we want to go ahead and run the thing between centers, like we showed our jig or our centers over here. And also I'm going to let you know that we'll take a look at it here shortly, but the second one we did spins within a half a thousandths in the rollers, which is pretty good. Maybe we're getting better as we get more experience here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and remove this and take this steady rest because we're not going to need it here to hog off the material. And there we go. Okay, now this is the first one, and before we get started here, I haven't pulled the plunger yet today, but we'll pull the plunger on the oiler, and we'll get the carriage up here in midsection here. That looks pretty good. One thing I'm already missing in the closing, I have that spot I always stick my T-wrench down into, and I missed that, so I'm gonna have to make something here so that I got that same kind of location. Right now I have a rag down here and I'm just kind of like laying it down on the rag. I don't want to put it up here, and I don't want to get it over on the bench. I need it to be accessible where I'm used to having it. And all right, and this is free floating in here as well, and we did vacuum up most of our chips there and a little oil. It's hard to find these tiny oil cans. I used to have two, and before I left California I actually gave one to my mentor Al Sledge there, and he had it for a while until somebody kind of wasted it away on him. Okay, now let's go ahead and we're going to put this in here. We'll move our steady rest in here where it's going to be comfortable, and we may adjust that, but about 1 inch on the stick out there, and just so we can see the tail end. It doesn't have to be butt in. We want freedom of moving it around. And if you notice here, I got a stop down here, and look at that, made a handle for it this morning. Hey, we just copied those Taiwanese there. I had a hard time deciphering that thread, and come to find out it's 1/2 inch 12. I've run into it before, and they couldn't do the 13. You know, it's like bad luck or something, so they probably just went 1/2 inch 12. And anyway, it threads in there perfect. And I gave it 2 flats and tightened it in. All right, let's get our indicator in here. Okay, yeah, we got a little bit of run out on there. Let's see what it says with our indicator on there. Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and move the 0 right to that. I'm going to put this up in a neutral here. Much easier for me to spin. Okay. 45, 0, or -1, so it's about 46 thousandths. You saw that mistake, right? Okay, now we just kind of make sure it's all tight all the way around. All right, we're within a shake of under a thousandths there. Okay, we tighten up our tailstock, check it again, still good. Well, look what just came in today. Music to my ears. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's see if I didn't screw up and I ordered and I got exactly what I want. Let's take a look. Cool, this is a D&MG 332 MF. Those look cute. I'm gonna go ahead and move my micrometer over here for a minute. Alright, and there is the C&MGs. Cutie little guys. Alright. And this is the CM bits. N123 F2. And they should be, I think they're like 90 or 100 thousandths on the width of the parting. Alright, let's look at the holders. I think this is the parting tool holder right here. And there's the wrench for it. Coral cut. That's a beauty. Shanks fit right in here. The Dorian holders are a little bit large, but they are stout, and that's what I wanted in the holder there. That'd be really cool. Okay, let's see if I got the other two right. I'm not gonna bother putting that in. I'm just gonna put my debris over to the side here. Woohoo! All right. There's my little wrench for that one, and that holds the D&M style DDJNR. That's pretty. Put that wrench there. I have to make another holder just for my wrench. They got those new torque drives. Yep, and this is the reason. There's a reason why they give it to you in a thumb fashion, because that's all the tightness you need. Okay, the first tool that we're going to try out is the D&M style, and using our new holder, new insert in here. Alright, and we need to set center height on this first. So we need our wrench to turn our compound and set up our angle and everything else. Okay, we're back against our tailstock there. Alright, I'm going to extend the tailstock out a little bit here, so I can come back. I can have a little angle there, that's fine. Alright, I like that. We'll lock this down again. Okay. Alright, we're tight there. Okay, now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to take our scale. I might go get my thicker scale. I like it a little bit better, but that angle there, it looks like it's protruding out this way. I am going to go get my little fatter scale. It does do a better job. Alright, I found one of my 3/4 thicker scales and put it in there. We sight down the lathe and you can see it's slightly out, and if you turn this thing around, just make sure so you can show that you're not using a bent scale, still bent out a little bit. Alright, we're going to go ahead and we're going to crank it up just a little bit. That's still leaning out. Now I'm going to lock that down. I'm going to see how that cuts right there at that position. Alright. Now I'm going to be playing with this thing to find out how fast, how much feed that we can get out of this. This is 2-inch diameter now, and our largest diameter where that sprocket goes is 1/633 or 41.47 millimeters. All right, let's see what we're running at now. Oh yeah, oil up them I don't know how much I got. I got it on my glasses, everything else. I just lubed and did those jaws, and of course my beige shirt is now speckled. Things that make you go, hmm. All right, so that was only 170 or so. I think, and probably with inserts and everything else, I can spin this thing up. Let's try about 620 here to start off. That's A and 3. Okay, that sounds pretty good there. I like that sound. It's nice and smooth too. By the way, I also put a little bit of oil on my gears back there in the back there, and I'm glad I didn't stick my face there again. There's even more oil there now. Let's take a look at what we got for feed right now. We got to change direction for our feed. Okay. That looks pretty good. That almost looks like about 15 thousandths. Okay, let's touch. I'm gonna set 0 on our shooting star readout here. And we're gonna set 0 at the start there. Okay, there's 25 thousandths here. That's handling pretty good. Let's add another 25. That means when it gets up to that one spot there, it'll be 50 thousandths. That's coming off pretty good right there. Really nice finish right there. Okay, I was dragging my little tray down here because it doesn't quite fit underneath the handle over there. So I found that was stuck, so I kind of moved that over here. I should be out of the way from now on. Anyway, we're looking at 1944 and a half. 1945. 1946. 45 and a half. 45 and a half. 44. All right, so we're about a half a thousandths, which is giving us that thousandths taper in this length here. We'll be taking a few more cuts here to get some more material off of here, and some more cuts under the belt here. But I tell you what, to be within a half a thousandths per side, pretty darn good right there. All right, we're going to endo this, and this is part of getting a true outside with the centers. Okay, now we know that this is center. This center is holding it here, and we took a true cut down here. We dial it to the outside, but we don't know how close that is to that center. We already proved that it was running out in our centers over there, at least 1,000 or so. So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and we're going to, first off, we're going to back our tool bit out here. Okay, we're going to undo the center here, loosen it up, and we're going to pull our part out, and we're going to turn the part around. I gotta get that. Nobody here. As we were going, we're gonna put that in there, which is, that cut is running true with the center right out at that center, and we're gonna put the center in this side here. And then we're gonna dial this in here. All right, take our brush. We want to clean off our ways there. We're finding that setting this indicator right here really does a good job, and find that in between sweet spot right there. Okay, within 50 thousandths, we got it there. Tighten up our center here. We're within a tenth. Very good. Okay, back down to our speed here, and we were looking at 3. Okay. Very nice. Oh, one thing that we did want to check, I just wanted to show, we dialed here 0, we get back in here. We want to know what that cut was running right there. Well, that's awesome. It actually, the mag base actually sticks to both jaws over my holder. Awesome. That's, I mean, you know, you can't ask for Better than that. Okay, now we can see this with our camera on the tailstock, I'm pretty sure. It's just fluctuating maybe a couple tenths. But we were pretty close, but at least now when we cut, we're going to be cutting true with that center. So we'll be able to whittle both directions here and maintain at least a half a thousandths as we go down in relationship to our center, as long as we're always using our center in one and dialing the other side to as close as we can get it. All right, let's go back and I was reading my readout, and I thought I was reading actual on one side, and I was actually reading diameter, and I'm going to go ahead and change this back to direct so that I know how much I'm actually taking on here. And we'll bring you in here closer. Okay, we're going to touch, bring it on back. All right, we're zero there. Okay, this is 25. Now I'm not using any cutting oil. Leaded stock is really nice on cutting like this. I got hot chips spraying down on the Delrin wipers, and they're holding up pretty good. Okay, that matched up with our two cuts of 50 there. Let's see if she'll handle 30. 30 a side. That's 60. That's a 1/16 of an inch off the diameter. That's throwing it down. That's throwing it down. That's a 1/16 off the diameter, 30 thousandths per side. Yeah, buddy. Uh, 1/881, 1/882, 1/882 and a half. That's 81. Finish is looking pretty good. I still got about the same amount of taper in there. We're about 1/1000th in the whole length here, from here to here. Of course, we got to find out, right? Okay, so let's get going again. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to increase another 10 per side. So that would be 80 thousandths total off of here. So that should bring our size down to about 800, 1/800, and we're still far enough away from our diameter that we're going to be roughing down to for that large diameter that's going in between our sprocket here.
I don't know if I can answer.
All right, here we go. Touching. 0. Cranking in port, that's 40 thousandths. Here we go. Sounds good when the load's on there, right? That's just a little bit of harmonics here somewhere. I mean, it's not showing up on the part, but I can hear it. It could even be something down inside the cabinet. That's 620 RPMs. We're clipping along at a pretty good speed. $50,000 depth. Or excuse me, 50,000 on the diameter, 25 on the depth. That's a 16th off the diameter, or 30,000 per side. This is a pretty good load right here. 50 thousandths a side, almost an eighth of an inch off the diameter. Same speed, same feed. Okay, these chips, see the golden color? They're starting to turn that up. Okay, I got one more cut to go after this, but I thought it'd be a good time to go ahead and put it to the push. Machine's got some spunk. I'm happy that I'm able to pull a chip like this, but it's because I did not shortcut myself on the tooling. The tooling speaks for itself. All right, I finished turning that one there. Let's go ahead and clear the spot right here for the other one. We're gonna wipe the bottom of this. Last time we didn't, and we set it down on the cupboard, and then we got something all over the cupboard there. All right, let me pull this one out here. Okay, and we'll put just a little bit lube in here. There, temperature change makes that come out. You don't have to squeeze that tube. All right. All right, let's set up our indicator here. We're running about 1.5 here. Let's see what we're running out here. About the same thing. Almost 2 there. This is still pretty warm. About 1.5 right in the center. We'll let that cool down too, and we'll check it when it's cool. All right, we're going to start getting this other one in there and roughing it down. This is 1/700, plus or minus 1 over this whole area right here. And we're going to bring the other one down to match this diameter. Then we're going to do some dicom on here, and then we're going to start bringing in, and we're going to start bringing 2 shoulders in here at the diameter of our second largest diameter flange, all the way down to our flange itself. And then after that, then we'll go to the next size flange, and we'll rough it all down to where it's 50 thousandths oversized. And then we'll be able to break it down and individually focus on individual sizes as we go. Okay, that side is dialed in. Now all we have is this little nub here to bring down to this diameter, and then we have both of these roughed out. Now we've been cooking along. This is the same tip, same insert all the way through this whole job so far. All right, and we think it can, we were just starting to get some golden brown chips at 50 thousandths depth per side. All right, and I think that's what we're gonna try here on the very first one here on the first cut. Touching off. Okay, let's touch off. Okay, here we go. Machine's got a good sound under our load. I believe we're working about 8 or 9 thousandths. I haven't looked at the gear in there, but I'm estimating that I'm about 8 or 9 thousandths per revolution on the feed rate. 620 on the RPM, 50 thousandths on the depth, 100 off the diameter. One hot chip on my chest. Okay, here we go. Another 100. That's 50 a side. Feels good. We're going to have a pile of chips to clean off of this lathe tonight. That's golden brown. Okay, finished cut. We only got 45 left or so. We'll just take it right on down to 0. That should blend it in pretty much with this surface right here. So far, I mean, our readout hasn't messed us up or anything else. It's within 2 on the other one. See, now there's my air compressor, and this machine standing here in front of me is almost as loud as my air compressor, and I thought my air compressor was pretty quiet, except for when there's no noise in the shop. All right, just lightly skipping right there. Excellent. Excellent. That was just a couple little of those hairs, the end of the cut there. Nice. She's hot, but within a thou and a half. Excellent. Okay, we pulled this one out of the lathe. It's warm, so I got my gloves on here, and we're gonna pull this one out. Where do I set it? I'm gonna set it right here on the rag. Okay. All right, this is the warm one. I already put a little bit of lube in on each side here. The other one did simmer down just a little bit, maybe like 1 1/4 or so. Okay, now that's running maybe 2/10. 2/10. I better zoom you in on that one there. 2/10 to a 1/2 thousandths. We got about 1/1000th there. Let me see. You're out of the picture there. About 1 1/2 there. Hardly moving there. Okay. So this side here might be the one that's out just slightly. Okay. A little bit closer than the other one. Like we said, we get better as we go. You know, we were just looking for within 2/1000ths all the way to getting down to roughing, and then we're going to run between centers. When you set up to run between centers, you have absolute centers with your center. And this later on, this jig here will let us show total indicator readout for the whole project and the straightness that we'll maintain on it. All right, it looks like I got chips to clean out of the bed here. We're super happy with our project, our inserts. I'm dying to try the other ones, but we're going to see them. I'm going to be getting down between the registers with this. We're going to be taking the parting and grooving tool is going to come in and help us get all of those in and outs and those close up to the shoulder areas. You got to get in there and hollow out the area, or cut out and get rid of the material, and then you can cut up to it. But also having a grooving tool like this and a readout, will be able to come in and actually set those exactly where they're at, and instead of cutting up to them, and that it'll take out some of the guesswork on it. All right, until next video, get her done.